What is up, YouTube? It's the Dynasty Buffs. How's it going today? Week one officially kick off this week. Got our first game on Thursday night with we got the Chiefs and Detroit Lions. Let me do some producer stuff real quick. Hold on.
All right, should be a good week. Good kickoff, actually. Good game of high-powered offenses. Not a bad way to start.
All right, cool. Got that out of the way. All right, let's let's get into it. So today we're gonna be going over week one start sit. Let's pull that up here. So we got start sit right here. We'll be going over our defenses first, our top fantasy defenses. Go over some boom and bust picks for the week. Who are we starting? Some pickups from guys from injuries. We'll give an injury report right here in a little bit, and that's pretty much it. All right, without further ado, let's do it.
All right, let's get started.
All right, let's see. Our injury report. All right, let's see what we're looking at. We got Travis Kelce hyperextended knee. All right, that looks like it's not a huge deal for the year. I mean, it looks like he's going to be out for maybe this week and next week. So I'm sure a lot of people are going to need to go get a tight end off waivers probably today or right now. Cooper Kupp, the hammy. He's been having issues this offseason. He's reportedly pulled his hamstring twice already this offseason. He went to go see a specialist, and I haven't seen word on that right now. Jerry Jeudy's hamstring injury looks like it might be a grade 2 injury, meaning he might be out for 4 to 6 weeks. We got Terry McLaurin's turf toe. That's pretty much ongoing the entire year. The turf toe is hard to get rid of. Breece Hall is expected to play this week. Expect him to be on maybe a 30-60 split with Cook for the first couple weeks. Then maybe an IC, 60-30, and the other guy sprinkled in here and there. A-Chain, Devon A-Chain looks like he's had a shoulder injury. We saw it there in the preseason. He got picked up and slammed to the ground. Doesn't seem to be really serious. We did see that Jeff Wilson injury, so it looks like Jeff Wilson's on IR, so it looks like Raheem Mostert might get the bulk of the work this week. Jackson Smith and Jigba, he had that broken bone in his wrist. He had that surgery operation 2 weeks ago. He started practice. We don't know if it was full practice or limited. Let's see. Juju Smith-Schuster's report that his knee could explode at any time. Don't really know what that means. I feel like that's any player that their knee could explode at any time, but I guess his knee's questionable. Something to monitor. George Kittle's been dealing with a groin injury this offseason so far. He looks to be a go this week. I haven't seen reports that he's going to be out. Maybe he might be on a snap count limit. I haven't seen anything, though. And Logan Thomas, tight end on the Commanders, looks to have a mild calf strain. Looks like he's going to play. He's been known to play even when he has injuries. Just stuff to monitor, things to look out for. All right, so when we do fantasy, right, majority of the time we're looking at our offensive players, right? We're primarily doing quarterback, running back, wide receiver, and tight end. Well, we gotta find out how the offense and those players stack up against the defenses for the year. So I found this graph on PFF. The x-axis is projected sack rate by Vegas projected points allowed. So basically, I think this is from 2022, but I guess he adjusted it for week one with his own projections. I don't remember the guy's name. His name was June. Anyway, so he thinks that, for week one, looks like the Saints, Ravens, Eagles, Seahawks, Cowboys, Panthers, Jags all seem to be like strong defensive starts this week. Then on the top left, we have, the Lions, Dolphins, Giants, Colts, and Chiefs. And ones with projected points allowed, so more points. It's like Green Bay, Texans, Rams, New England Patriots, Raiders. Then we got lowest projected points allowed. I mean, Commanders, that's kind of surprising. Falcons. That's pretty much it. So we want to find players this week. And anytime we go throughout the week, we can get players that don't go against these strong defenses. So, maybe whoever's playing the Lions, Dolphins, Chiefs, Texans, Tampa Bay, Arizona. I mean, I think the Rams are probably not going to be that great this year either. So maybe teams that are going against the Rams, go ahead and get those guys. All right, so let's take a look at this next graph here. This one is offensive EPA over play, defensive EPA over play allowed. So how well teams passed and defended the pass when throwing over the middle. All right, so again, here we see the Lions, Eagles, and Dolphins getting that strong offensive play, but also allowing a lot of defensive EPA allowed. Something to monitor, something interesting with you have the Lions like Amon-Ra St. Brown. Dude's just going to get a ton of stuff over the middle. Brock Purdy's going to sling you on the 49ers through the middle to Debo and Ayuk. Some other ones in the Chargers. Maybe Quentin Johnson can be the guy this year if he wants to go over the middle and do a bunch of yak. It's what he's known for coming out of TCU. Anything that you see on this graph you want to chime in and say anything?
Yes, H. On this one here, if you look at the Jaguars, I'm a T-Law fan. I think that where they got them there is based on last year's numbers. I think they have the potential to move up and be an improved team, both on offense and defense. I think they might be what you would call some type of sleeper candidate to keep an eye on, both defensively and offensively. I'm really big on them this year.
Yeah, and something else here. Some of the surprising ones over here are the Jets and the Bears. I'm not sure if this is like for the entire year. This is 2022 last year, but if we look at the Bears, or even if this was last year, right? Not much has changed for them except they added DJ Moore and they added Roschon Johnson. They fixed a little bit of their offensive line, but I mean that's a pretty low offensive EPA. I'm not sure. I don't know. We'll see what Fields does this year. After week 1, we'll kind of know where Fields is going for the year. Is he going to be the running style quarterback still, or is he going to start learning to be a passer and improve his passing, which could hurt his fantasy production, but it might actually help the other guys out like DJ Moore. So I think, like guys like DJ Moore could be one of the big boomer busts, or like here the Jets, right? They just added Aaron Rodgers. Maybe Aaron Rodgers makes the difference in, guys, Garrett Wilson, Breece Hall.
Well, you would think that would, right? Because he is such a good quarterback historically. If he has any consistency from the previous years, even if it's 80% of what he usually does, that's still better than what the Jets had last year for quarterback play. So you would expect that team to move to the right on the offensive scale, even if the defense didn't change at all.
Yeah. Yeah. That's kind of it. So we'll take a look at the week 1 odds and projections, and we'll go ahead and do the start and sit and talk about guys that we like and boom or bust candidates for this week. It's just something we're going to do probably every week going forward. All right, let's take a look at the matchups. So on the left here, I got home, and then on the right, away. And our first game this week is Kansas City and Detroit. We just saw, that injury to Travis Kelce. I'm not sure I'm sure Vegas has a pretty already adjusted. Maybe now the spread's like 2, maybe for Kansas City to lead by 2 points. Not sure, but if we look at that match, obviously the guys look at our Mahomes, Kelsey, and on Detroit side we look at Goff, Jahmyr Gibbs, Amon-Ra St. Brown, maybe even Sam Laporta, tight end. It'd be interesting to see what happens this week now that if Kelsey plays or if he doesn't play. Jared Goff could be a interesting ad. Maybe you could start, maybe not. Maybe some guys at KC. If Kelsey goes down, do you trust Sky Moore? Do you trust Kadarius Toney? Maybe Isaiah Pacheco gets more work. Maybe we see Clyde Edwards-Helaire come back and then we just do running back splits. I don't know what's going to happen with that week.
What do you think, H, about the Detroit with all the suspensions on the wide receiver position? How is that going to impact them?
Yeah, for the first 6 weeks, we know that Jameson Williams is going to be out. And then outside of that, we don't know. They've had so many issues with the gambling problem. It's just a Amon-Ra St. Brown season. I really like him as the potential boom candidate this week, but the projections are pretty high already on him. So I'm just gonna go with the projections this week on him. I think he's like 18. I think that's pretty fair. That'd be like wide receiver 5. Maybe some of the other guys get some options.
It'll be interesting to see how KC plays them on the defense, right? Do you double up, put 2-man coverage, double coverage on Amon St. Brown, and who else are they going to throw to? Who's the number 2 wide out for Detroit? Who's the WR2?
Yeah,
that's going to be a threat. Jahmyr Gibbs, he could do well. He could be, he could set up a good ground game. I think it's between him and Swift from last year. If Gibbs is what he is recruited to be,
you mean Montgomery, right?
Well, yeah, Montgomery.
Yeah,
as a primary runner, yeah, he could change it, but again, the wide receiver core makes you wonder how Detroit's going to fare. It'll be interesting to see how this game shakes out.
Yeah. And then, for the rest of the ones, since we're just talking about this week, you got Cleveland, Cincinnati, Baltimore, Minnesota, Atlanta, Washington, et cetera, all the way down the list. All these teams are projected to win. For fantasy purposes, you got to get the guys that are probably going to win the spread here. And the way I like to play the odds are, if the game's generally closer, you have the majority of the time the running backs still get some play work, and they're not going to be, trailing, so they don't have to pass the ball to keep up. So Houston, they might see a lot of passes if Baltimore runs away with it, and if Baltimore's plus 10, they could be Andrews is your guy, Lamar Jackson can be your guy. I like Dobbins this week, but the spread is 10. Dobbins I like because he's supposed to be more involved in the pass catching role. But if they're up by 10, maybe he's not going to get any more carries later down the road because, they're up by 10. Maybe they just take out their starters and just put in some other people in, keep them healthy for the year.
I think the Cleveland Cincinnati one is pretty interesting, right? Vegas only has them by 2.5.
Yeah, it's got Cincinnati by 2.5.
You think it'd be more? I know Cleveland has a home field advantage, but Cleveland could be an interesting team to watch as well. Deshaun Watson coming back off of suspension last year obviously looked rusty starting out. But as the year progressed, he started to look better. Question is, will he look better this year? And how much of a jump will he make? Especially now that they got Elijah Moore on board as well to go against Coop on the other side. They could be formidable if he returns to form a lot more, and that should be an interesting game to watch.
Yeah, it should be fun. I like Amari Cooper. I think it'll be a shootout. I think Cooper will be their guy this year, and I think Deshaun Watson will have to play from behind in this game and see what happens. Some other ones, Atlanta, guys from Atlanta, Washington. We know that Arizona is just looks like they're in full-on tank mode right now. I not really trusting anybody on Arizona right now. Jacksonville, they also look good too, playing Indy. Rookie quarterback, JT's out right now. They traded Stephon Gilmore. their defense looks suspect. We saw on the graph earlier. I think Jacksonville's defense also. I mean, you mentioned this. I think they'll step up as well with Allen and Trayvon Walker. I think he'll make a step forward. I think they'll be a pretty good pass rush this year.
I think their offense is going to play much better too, which kind of takes a little bit of the pressure off the defense in terms of where they're going to be playing. I think in this regard, if Jacksonville does and keeps the momentum from last year, I mean, you saw Trevor Lawrence, he had the game where he threw like 5 interceptions and a half, but then he bounced back, or however many it was quite a bit, and he bounced back and they still won. If he plays with that kind of confidence coming forward with the addition of Ridley, I really do like Jacksonville, and also like Bigsby. I thought that was a great pickup for them on the team. I think Jacksonville could be vastly improved on offense compared to what they were. And with the Colts having their concerns at quarterback with the rookie quarterback, they could start Mishnu, but we'll see what happens. I think that'll be an interesting game. But I think Jacksonville, -5. Yes, Indianapolis is at home, but I think that might be a bigger spread than what they have. But again, maybe because I think highly of Jacksonville this year.
So, do you think Jacksonville can win it all this year?
I wouldn't say they can win it all, but I definitely think they're going to make a bigger push, even more so than last year. I think they'll do a deeper run. I think Trevor Lawrence, a lot of it depends on how well he does and how healthy they stay, just like any other team. However, I think they have certainly some magic left. Now, can they win it all? There's some stiff competition. They're going to have to go through Arrowhead, obviously, with Patrick Mahomes, and the Bills got better as well. So maybe.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good. Let's see. The one I thought was surprising was Philadelphia at only winning by 4. We just saw Philly go to the Super Bowl and go toe to toe with the Chiefs last year. They got better this offseason. They added more talent. They added Nolan Smith, Jalen Carter. They look good. And then New England, I have no idea what they're doing. Bill Belichick just cut all of his quarterbacks, picked up Matt Corral. Their wide receivers are pretty bad. I mean, their guy's Juju, whose knee's supposed to blow up. I don't know I don't know what Vegas is thinking on this. I think Philadelphia might be, I don't know, might be 2 touchdowns, maybe 2.5 touchdowns. Call it 2 touchdowns and a field goal.
Yeah, I think that's going to be an ugly game. And I'm not an Eagles fan by any stretch, but I do respect the players, and I think they got better. They just got better in the offseason. Their defense, and I think they have the number 1 defense going in. At least that's my expectation going into the year. Unbelievable during the draft. They got better on paper, and we'll see how. And they retained some great players that you thought were going to leave. I was hoping they were going to leave, but they stayed. So I hope they don't do as well just because I'm not a Philadelphia fan. But for the paper, -4, I would take Philadelphia all day.
Yeah, me too. Another interesting one here, then we'll get to ranking start sits and stuff. Chicago and Green Bay. So it's in Chicago this week, and Vegas has Chicago winning by 1 point. I personally don't think it will be. I think it'll be a low scoring game, and it'll be slow. It'll either be just running, and either it's going to be Aaron Jones and AJ Dillon, and then Love trying to do stuff over the middle, just short throws. I think it's going to go back and forth and be a field goal game. That's it.
Well, I think what you're seeing is Vegas is not really big on the quarterbacks, right? The quarterback play, they're suspect. They're saying Jordan Love from Green Bay, sure, he's going to do better than the 3-point favorite that you think Chicago would be by being at home, but they're not going to be able to come to 3 points. You watch him in the preseason, Jordan Love to Watson or to whoever, you wonder if he's going to be better. I guess maybe they think Fields is going to do much better than what we may be giving him credit for. I don't know if Chicago made enough changes in the offseason, but I guess we'll see. That's why they play the game, right?
Yeah, I have no idea about this. This one's weird. I mean, we saw it in the graph earlier. It's like one of the best sack rate defense against one of the worst offensive efficiency ones. Okay, so offense versus defense, but I don't know, man. I think I think Love might surprise some people this year. I don't know. It'd be interesting to see this one. I might actually. It might be one of the most boring games to watch, but for football and like strategy, it might be one of the most enjoyable one.
The game I like is the Washington game. I tell you, I liked Hal coming out, not because I thought he was going to be a generational talent for quarterback, but I thought that coming out of college, he probably had the best shot in that draft of being a starter. And here he is in Washington. We'll see how he does. Now he won't. If McLaurin doesn't play with the turf toe, that's tough. That's a big hit. That's a big loss. I have McLaurin on a couple of my teams. I was hoping great things for him, but I like Hal. He did good against the Cowboys, good in quotes, but he did well enough, and I hope he improves. That'd be interesting to watch him.
So, where do you think Sam Howell finishes this year?
Oh, you're putting me on the spot for a hot take. I think he'll be inside the top 20.
Wow. Okay. We'll see.
Going big.
It could be, but they're in a tough division this year. I think they're candidates, surprisingly, to even get in the Caleb Williams sweepstakes. Personally,
wow. I would say it depends on it. If McLaurin plays and doesn't miss a lot of games because of the turf toe, I think he's a baller. He can throw. I like him. He's
20.
A gutsy guy.
All right. That's funny. I mean, I've seen guys. Oh no, he's a franchise quarterback. He's a guy. I mean,
put him that high, but he's a good starter.
Top 20. I mean, fantasy purposes, that's probably maybe it's higher than I would like. I can't put him in the top 20, but I could see why some people would. But for me this year, I'm like, he's in a tough division. I don't know what they're gonna do with this team. Who knows? But
we'll see.
I know you like him. I know you like
hot take.
Love the hot takes.
Talk to me in a couple weeks, and I'll update my prediction. But I think he's got a stronger team than some of the other quarterbacks.
Oh yeah, for sure.
That's probably why I move him up more than some of the others. There's some other better talented quarterbacks, but he's on a decent team.
All right, yeah, fair enough. All right, let's get into these star sig rankings here. All right, let's take a look here at some of the QBs. All right, so these are guys you're all-stars, your league winners. You just start these guys every single week, right? We're starting Mahomes. I don't care if Kelsey's out. We're still starting Mahomes. Burrow, starting Burrow if he's healthy. Lamar Jackson, healthy, start him, et cetera, all the way down to Herbert. Those are going to be my guys this year that I'm starting them no matter who they're playing.
How about Hurts?
He's in the list, yeah.
Okay.
So all the guys in the league winner green section, they're going to be my starters regardless. After that, we get elite tier 1, elite tier 2 guys for the year that I think are going to be really good this year are Tua, Dak, Kirk Cousins, Deshaun Watson, Fields, Daniel Jones, and all the other guys down here are just. I use my little mouse here.
I think Gino's going to be an interesting one to see if he repeats, right?
Yeah. So all these guys I'm starting. After Gino, in my opinion, that's where it becomes a toss-up. So for this week, I'm just like, I mean, I like Goff. I would say you could start Goff, but I mean, are you gonna start Goff over? I personally am not starting Goff over Rodgers or Geno Smith, given who they're playing this week, right? So Seattle's playing the Rams. They're bad, and Rodgers. I mean, he's playing the Bills, but he's Rodgers, and he's gonna have to throw the ball. He's got to throw the ball. He's gonna run. Everybody else, yeah, I'm starting. Some of the surprising ones that might be surprising to some people is I'm sitting Russell Wilson. I'm sitting Derek Carr. And I guess this is surprising. I'm sitting Anthony Richardson because, I've seen some people say he's going to finish in the top 10. So I don't even have Richardson in the top 10 starting week 1. Kind of spicy.
So where do you think Richardson is going to end up for the year? I mean, here you got him 24. Where do you got him at the end of the year?
I think he finished
top 10.
No, I love Anthony Richardson. I really do. I really like the kid. He's one of the worst passers coming out of college that we've seen. Mechanically, he's struggling, man. He doesn't have Jonathan Taylor either, and like that team is just bad. he has a lot to overcome on that team. I don't expect him to crack the top 20. So he's outside my top 20. I can see him finish around, quarterback 26 to 24.
So see, you got Sam Howell at 23. He's close. He's only 3 away from top 20. My hot take's not too cold. Seems like it's fairly hot.
Maybe Jimmy G resurrects his career. Maybe Jordan Love comes back. I don't know, man. It's interesting.
It's hard when you get down that far. I mean, Bryce Young, you got at 21. I think Bryce Young is a much better quarterback than Kenny Pickett and some of the guys that are ahead of him in terms of just sheer talent. But again, the team that he's on right now, the talent surrounding him is not certainly not optimum.
Yeah. So you mentioned Geno Smith, right? So Geno Smith was the top 10 quarterback last year.
I like Geno. I remember when he played at West Virginia, and I had high hopes for him. And he started with the Jets, and then he imploded, disappeared. But the fact that he resurrected his career, hats off to Geno. I hope he pulls it off and repeats, because it'd be great, especially for the receivers. He's got a good team.
What's funny is, right, so Russell Wilson went to the Broncos, and Seattle traded. What they traded away. Not really much.
They
traded Wilson and I think something else. And then they got back in return a first round pick. And they got Drew Lock and like a bunch of other stuff. And here they are. All right. Here comes Geno. Top 10 quarterback gets signed. And his team got better, man. The Seahawks got better. They drafted one of the best wide receivers in college football. Got my RB3, Zach Charbonnet. Kenneth Walker's coming back. DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett, offensive line, and they got Witherspoon, who's out this week, but he's been coming back this week. They have a good team this year. They could go to the playoffs this year.
Yeah, JSN's good. JSN was a good pickup. Charbonnet, I mean, if they can keep the pressure off Geno, they certainly set him up to have a repeat year by having two good quality running backs and even improving at the wide receiver position.
Yeah.
Certainly to keep an eye on him, because if he stays in there right now, you have him at 15, he can move up.
Yeah. All right. What about? Yeah, I think that's it for me on these. I guess there's really no injuries on the quarterback, so I don't really recommend anybody else besides these guys.
Why do you got Purdy so low? Why is he faded to 18? He's undefeated.
I feel like that's not low, personally, in terms of like rankings. I don't think that's low. I mean, maybe you could argue, maybe you flip him with Wilson, but I don't see Brock being better than Jared Goff this week or any of the guys above him. I don't see it. I think he's going to struggle this week against Pittsburgh.
I don't have a problem with it. I was just messing with you on that one.
Yeah, but I mean, I was saying that, I think it's time that I said that. Kyle Shanahan said that Brock, the real deal Purdy, is a franchise quarterback in the face of the San Francisco 49ers going forward.
Hey, Brock Purdy could be Brock. All I do is win Purdy. If he turns out to keep that train going, you better grab him early before he moves up that list, because then it'll be hard to get him.
Yeah. It was interesting to see how he does this year. All right, let's take a look at the running backs. And these might be getting into some hot take area here. So, again, the green. These are my guys that I said that they're going to be starters every week, regardless what happens. Matchup proof is what some people say. Barkley, CMC, Bijan, Eckler, Henry, Jacobs. Nick Chubb this week, if he gets involved in the passing game, he might be a lot better this week than I'm projecting. But I mean, they're going to be playing from behind against the Bengals. The Bengals, they do their thing with Jamar Chase and Burrow, so who knows? Pollard, maybe I should move Pollard up this week. Maybe he's up in the green area. But man, I'll tell you the truth. I don't really like Tony Pollard. As a Cowboys fan, I'm like, he's small. He's not that fast. I don't think he's that good personally. He can't block as well. I don't know what the Cowboys situation is going to do with the running back. I think he's going to be running back by committee. I don't think it's going to be a 3-down workload for Pollard. He just can't handle it. I mean, he broke his ankle at the end of the year too.
Yeah, but they fell on him. That was a pretty ugly,
Yeah,
pretty ugly break. I don't think you can put that on him. He was actually pretty solid throughout the year, but size, he's actually not small, but in terms of the pounding, he's not as thick. You know, his BMI, I don't think is probably as high as some of the other ones just by looking at him, but
yeah.
you can see the chart.
Yeah, so guys, I'm going to be starting are going to be from, Barkley all the way down to Pacheco. And now, I mean, if Kelsey's out, maybe I move Pacheco up. But then this gets in the toss up and like spicy area. So I love Javonte Williams for the year. But for me, I need to see what he looks like week 1 before I say that he's going to be a starter every week. So the toss-up areas are guys that I need to see first week 1 to decide that, yeah, they're going to be lock and loaded starters from here on out. Same thing with Breece Hall this week. I think I'm going to have to sit him. I know that the Jets said that he's going to play a full workload, but I mean, they're smarter than that. They're not going to do that. They're going to put him on a snap count limit. They'll be splitting carries with, like I said, maybe he only does 20% this week, and then Cook does 60, and then the other guys do the other 20. I don't know. I need to see what they do week 1 with Hall. I think I'll probably have to sit him this week.
Here's what I got for you, H, on this is look at number 12, Jahmyr Gibbs. He's from Detroit. You got him at number 12. He's an elite tier. You got him, but he's on the depth chart. He's number 2 behind Montgomery. We talked a little bit about this in the matchups. I think he's got to watch. My gut feel on this one is I don't have a problem with putting him this high, not necessarily just because of his running, certainly because of his pass catching. With all the receivers being down in Detroit, I think you're going to see Jahmyr Gibbs do a lot in the passing game.
Yeah, I totally agree. And
but
I mean,
you don't have Montgomery anywhere else. That's well, I guess you have him at 28, but
yeah, I think he's going to be goal line dependent, and even I don't even know what the Lions are going to do. Maybe I think he's just going to be the goal line guy, but I'm not sure what's going to happen.
I think Gibbs is a good play for the receiving upsides there. Yeah, it's undeniable.
Yeah. I wouldn't even be mad at him moving up, above Stevenson if you want for this week. But he's a rookie. I need to see it. I need to see him play. I need to see how they're going to use him because he's going to be in running back by committee with Montgomery. So I drop him down a little bit because we know guys like Harris, Stevenson, Pollard, all the guys above, they've had full workloads. They've gotten that time. So I'll put them up above. Some of the ones that I'm really surprised on are, James Conner. I don't know. I didn't know there were this many James Conner truthers out there, but apparently he's going to finish, maybe running back 10 this year because he's just going to get so many carries and so much opportunity because there's nobody there. There's no wide receivers except Marquise Brown. Now that D-Hop's gone, right? They don't have a quarterback anymore right now. I don't even know if Kyler even comes back this year.
Yeah, I don't see that happening.
I can't believe that I've seen that. And it's a hot take to put James Conner outside the top 10, a little top 20.
I don't know if it's a hot take. I mean, without Murray playing, do you think that the teams are going to stack the box? Or are they going to drop back?
No,
I mean, they're going to stack the box because they're not scared that they're going to get beat deep all the time every game. So
you're going to say, no, we're going to make Dobbs beat us, Josh Dobbs or Clayton Tune. I love Clayton Tune, but no, that point needs work. And no, he's not ready for that. Another one I like is, James Cook. He's toss up for this year. He's high upside, in my opinion. Now offense back to the pass catcher work. Some surprises, that we've seen. We'll get into this after we talk about some of the media here. Khalil Herbert, everybody says start him. I think the Bears is going to be nothing but committee. I think maybe the first week might see Herbert, and then Roshan Johnson sprinkled in there, Deontay Foreman. I don't know what that backfield is going to look like. All we know is the running back one is Fields. For right now, that's what we know. I'm not sure about Herbert. I'm going to sit him this week. Same with the other guys. Mostert, I know everybody's saying start Mostert because there's nobody else. If Achane comes and plays, expect them to be doing stuff, and then Mike McDaniels is going to be picking whatever running back he needs to scheme up. Dylan,
I was going to say same thing with Brees Hall and Cook. You don't have Cook on here either, but that's going to be a committee, I think, approach in the Jets as well. And then with Rodgers, they may have a tendency to pass more. So interesting to see how they hit the first game.
Yeah, and then I did top 100 in the projections and stuff. They're just gonna do the ones that we can start in the one quarterback, at least. But maybe Dylan moves up this week. I'm not sure what Dylan's gonna do this year in the Green Bay offense with Jordan Love now. I think he's gonna be a lot different. Just don't feel comfortable starting him at all. All right, let's take a look at receivers. This year, same thing. Green guys gonna be starting regardless. Maybe you put a Amon-Ra St. Brown in, the green area, but I didn't because Jameson Williams can come back. Week 6, week 7, maybe be something, but not something great. But maybe he just takes a little bit of target share away. Maybe Sam Laporta starts to develop and get some more targets. Maybe Gibbs. I don't know. I don't think he's gonna be. He'll be a wide receiver 1 probably again this year on the Lions, but it might drop down. He might see a little bit less. Garrett Wilson, people drafted him in the first round too. I can't do that. So, guys, I'm starting for this week all the way down here to Dotson. I put a sit next to Terry because turf toe sucks, right? Like you'd be fine, and all of a sudden, as you do a quick movement, off the blocks, and you're like, oh man, my toe hurts. I can't move. I can't feel my. It's just bad. It's lingering. It just stays pretty much the entire year. It comes and goes. That's a tough one. He's questionable, so I'm not sure what's going to happen. I think he's going to sit week 1, but I don't know. Something to monitor. If he's healthy and he's a full go, just remember that turf toe it does linger and it does come back. So maybe if he has some of the other guys start, I mean, I've seen Dotson still on waivers, so maybe go get him instead and start him. Some of the toss-ups are from Mike Williams all the way up to Pickens. Wide receiver 2s. I mean, some of these guys, maybe if you need to, for upside, maybe take Lockett if JSN doesn't play. Michael Thomas, if you need upside, start Ayuk if you don't have any of the other guys up top.
How about Kirk? Christian Kirk, now that they got a new, they got a wide receiver 1 there now. How do you think Kirk's going to do this year?
I think he'll be worse than he was when he was wide receiver 12. I don't see him being a wide receiver 12 now on that offense. I think you're going to see a lot of what Lawrence, or I guess what Mahomes does, and some of the other league quarterbacks. Same with Herbert, right? They just sprinkle the ball around. I'm not sure we're going to see Kirk crack the top 15. Maybe he cracks the top 20. But I don't see him replicating that top 12 season again. I think he'll be fine. He'll be with a wide receiver 2 at Jacksonville. Same thing with these other guys at wide receiver 1s and 2s, like Terry, Keenan Allen, Mike Williams, Ayuk. Like any of these guys in this area, they could be something.
So I think Kirk might be somebody to keep an eye on, especially compared to an Ayuk or even you have D-Hop up here, but I would say some of those guys just because of the quarterback play. Kirk was open when it was just him, and I think with Ridley there as well, I think he's going to see more opportunities. Certainly the offense is going to be passing a lot more powerfully this year. So I He's got to keep an eye on, as a good R2 to put in there, WR2 to put on your team somewhere else. If you don't have one of the top guys, just keep an eye on him. That's all I'm saying.
So we got a question here. Need a running back and another flex. So Stevenson, Najee, Akers, Brees, Javante, Ayuk, and Pittman options for flex. Okay. So I need a running back and another flex. So for this week 1, oh, you know what? Oh, that is ugly. Stevenson, Najee Harris, Cam Akers, absolutely not. Brees Hall. If Brees Hall is healthy, man, then yes.
Yeah, I'd go with Brees Hall if he's healthy. That one, not only for this week, but if you get Brees Hall and you can pick him up, he certainly has the potential to do better in the following weeks.
Okay, here's what I would do. I would start Stevenson for running back. I think Mac Jones is gonna have to play from behind against the Eagles.
Yes.
Let's take a look here. Let's take a look. Yeah, so Stevenson 10. I mean, let's see. They're playing, they got Philly by 4 in Vegas. I think he's going to get a lot of the pass catching work. If this is PPR, go with Stevenson. And then at flex, you have to go with Najee Harris. If you need to go for upside, absolute upside, who cares? Go with Stevenson and Brees Hall. But safe pick would be Stevenson and Najee. I don't think Ayuk will be. Maybe he'll give you a touchdown or two. But I want the carries, man. I want the carries in the work. We know that Najee and Stevenson have gotten the workload. So those would be my guys. Those pick. What about you?
I think I'd still try to get Brees Hall just because I think even though you had him ranked low on there, I think his talent and speed, if he's healthy, again, you got to watch that to see if he's healthy. I think with people dropping back, expecting Rodgers to light it up, you might see Brees Hall do a little bit better on the ground. I know they got they added another starter as well, but I still think Brees Hall is just pretty dynamic for a younger player.
Yeah. All right. What about this one? Start 2. Pierce, Dotson, Montgomery, or Kenneth Walker. Let's see.
I like Dotson. He's certainly one.
Yeah. If Terry McLaurin's out, you start Dotson.
Without a doubt.
Yeah. I think I would do Dotson and Walker. But a part of me wants to say, you know what? Maybe Dameon Pierce becomes a pass catching running back week 1 and he just gets dumped off from CJ Stroud and he goes off. But I'll go with Dotson and Walker. Just because Commanders are playing the Cardinals. They're bad. That's easy. All right. Let's finish up tight ends here.
Yeah, it'd be the same on that one too.
Nice. All right. Maybe Travis Kelce isn't a start this week anymore. I might have to change this, right? With updates. If Kelce is healthy, you start him. Everybody up here for me, up until Johnson, you probably start. I guess you could probably flip Freiermuth and Johnson for me. Toss-ups for me are Higbee, Dulcich, Kmet, and Okonkwo. Guys like upside plays, just looking here out of the toss-up list. Nah, I'll go with Jawan Johnson. All right, any arguments here? You see anything?
You don't like Dulcich?
I do like Dulcich. I do, but Sean Payton went and got Adam Trotman from the Saints. He brought back his boy, and he's been getting snaps. And I'm like, he's not good. So I don't know what he's going to do with Dulcich. I hate to say this, but Sean Payton's another guy, another coach that's one of those high ego coaches that they don't ever put their ego aside when it comes to doing football and analytics. I'm a big fan of always doing man analytics. Know if your guy is good. And if he's good, play him. Play your good players. Don't let them sit.
How about Gesicki? It isn't like New England has a bunch of wideouts going to be tearing up the program.
Don't I want to
Could be wrong, but I'm just saying.
I want to like Gesicki. We do know history says that Mac Jones loves his tight end. Remember Hunter Henry back? I don't know what year it was. Well, Hunter Henry used to have a good year with Mac Jones. I think it was a rookie year actually.
Yeah, so you compare Hunter Henry to Mike Gesicki.
But like
He's a better receiver.
That offense is just garbage, man. I don't want to trust any of the Patriots pass catchers at all.
I'm just saying I wouldn't either. However, Gesicki, in terms of talent, and looking at those names there in your sit and then potentially your toss up, certainly Schultz is a decent player, but he's got to have a good quarterback to throw to. So he's, I like Schultz when he's with the Cowboys, but Dak and the system, they throw a lot to the tight ends. Gesicki, certainly a good pass catcher tight end.
Yeah. He's a freak athlete as well.
So he's somebody, and he should be playing angry.
Yeah.
Something to think about.
Yeah. All right. Let's see where we're at here.
Sorry. Another boomer bust.
Yeah. All right, some boomer bust picks for week 1. Kirk Cousins, Lamar Jackson, Trevor Lawrence, Jalen Hurts, Geno Smith. So Kirk Cousins got the best wide receiver in football. He's playing trash can Tampa Bay with Baker Mayfield, and looks like Mike Evans and Chris Godwin, they might be traded throughout the year. I don't know. They're in that Caleb Williams sweepstakes pick 101. I like him above, maybe he scores. I think he scores, 20 this week. Lamar Jackson, 23.2's projection. I think he's going to have an awesome game against Houston. Houston's not good at all. Trevor Lawrence, I think he has a good game as well. Jalen Hurts goes off. Geno Smith, I think he might be the biggest surprise here personally. 16.6 on Sleeper.
He's a boomer bust there for sure. He's the big boom guy, the potential of all those. Lawrence, but I think they'll probably get up so fast that Lawrence probably won't get as many points as you would think in a shootout, because I don't think it's going to be a shootout. It'll be a one-way shootout.
Yeah, maybe he could bust too, personally. I mean, maybe he just gets 2 touchdowns and he just gives it off to ETN and Bigsby. But I mean, it's going to be a high scoring game for Jags, but I don't know what it's going to be for passing. But I like him. He should be doing well. I think he's going to use ETN, and he's got all the pass catchers now with Ridley. So it's up there. Wilson, I think 16.3 is high, in my opinion. He's only got his wide receivers are Sutton, Mims, Adam Trotman, Greg Dulcich. Sutton's not that good. Marvin Mims I absolutely love, but he's a rookie. He's going to need a couple more weeks before he starts to develop into the player they want him to be.
Hey, marvelous Marvin Mims. Never know.
Yeah. Let's see. Baker, 15.
You heard it here. Marvelous Marvin.
Yeah. Pickett, he's playing San Francisco's defense. I don't know if Nick Bosa is going to play or not, but either way, I think San Francisco's going to be fine dealing with Kenny. Mac Jones,
ooh,
I think he's going to struggle, man, against the Eagles. 13.9.
Hold on, is AP?
I don't need AP in the game. He's on the practice squad. I mean, you're going to trust Matt Corral? I don't know what's going to happen with this team, dude.
I thought Zappe was number 2.
You would think they're battling that right now in practice, Matt Corral and Bailey Zappi.
Wait, let me consult the internet. They have. You're right. Matt Corral is number 2.
Yep.
Holy smokes.
All right, here's a surprising pick. Do I think Sky is worth picking up now with Kelsey probably out? So actually, in a 32-team league, I'm in to redraft one. I actually picked up Sky Moore late in the draft because I'm pretty optimistic about him this year being the wide receiver one on the Chiefs. Obviously, is Kelsey. But yeah, I really think you should pick up Sky Moore if Kelsey is out. I think what you're going to see is you're going to see a lot of the running backs, Pacheco and what's his name? I have to go back on my list here. This guy might be surprising. Jerick McKinnon. There we go. Now it comes to my mind. Remember, Jerick McKinnon was, getting all kinds of work. So I think McKinnon and Sky Moore you might see get a lot of work, but Andy Reid, spreads the ball around. So I'm not really sure.
Yeah, I like Sky Moore. I kept him into my leagues as well. I think he's gonna. It usually takes 3 years, right, for the receivers to break out.
Yeah.
He should do better than last year. He's not quite at that 3-year statistically relevant breakout point, but I like him. I'd roll the bones on him.
All right. So would you rather start Sky Moore or Christian Watson?
Watson.
Yeah, me too. I'd rather start Watson. I love Christian Watson. Last year we saw Watson and Love get some of that connection. Even this offseason we saw that. I'd rather start Christian Watson. But Sky could be somebody you could pick up and potentially trade as well to somebody that I need a wide receiver that could just go off. I need a flex option. So if you have space on your bench, I would pick him up and then maybe put him in a package this week and trade him.
Got better quarterback play too.
Yes.
Can't underestimate that as well.
Yeah. All right, the last one here, surprising one, is Justin Fields. I think he's going to struggle this week against Green Bay. I mean, it's a toss-up for me, but I'm going to be low. I don't think he's going to get 21. I think he might get like 17, 18.
He's going to get all his points in the fourth quarter.
Yeah. In garbage time.
I think he'll get his 21, but it's all going to be in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
It'll be like this, flat, and then all of a sudden the point score will go up like that.
Yeah.
He'll be getting like 3 points. You're like, why did I start him? And then all of a sudden,
yeah,
shoot up.
I hope Fields develops into a passer. I don't like to see guys get ran out of town, personally. I hope he develops as a passer. It might suffer for fantasy, but like I said earlier, we're going to see what Fields is week 1. We'll find out. He's playing against Green Bay, a good defense. We'll see what happens.
Yep.
All right, next one, running backs. We got Dobbins, Sean, Jacobs, Etienne, and Madison. So, I mean, the other ones are pretty obvious. The only one I'm going to talk about here is Madison. So this might be surprising because I've been down on Madison, right? I'm not a fan. The hype is getting crazy on him. You could trade him for a person. Dynasty, he's going like round 5 or 6 and redraft. Insane. But this week, we might see vintage Alexander RB1 Madison again. He's playing Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay is pretty bad. I mean, game script says Minnesota's going to destroy him. So I'm in on Madison this week. Guys I'm out on, I'm sorry whoever asked me about Najee Harris and Stevenson. But like 12.5. I mean, Jaylen Warren, he's there. But, if Kenny Pickett plays like how he should, we should see Najee Harris getting some of that pass catching work and be fantasy relevant. And he's getting those goal line carries. Maybe he goes off, maybe not. But relative to the other guys who were starting, I think he's going to have a down week because he's playing in San Francisco. But if you need to start him, right? These guys are your starters, but these are just my picks. I don't think you're going to get more than 12. Stevenson, another one. Philly, it's just rough. Maybe maybe Stevenson gets that pass catching work, but going against Philly's defense is rough, especially on Mac Jones too. That he's still learning. Herbert, Green Bay, solid defense, running back by committee. Dalvin Cook, he was one of the least efficient running backs in all of football last year. He's bad.
I don't think he's going to be what his name recognition would dictate, right? Because how many teams were chomping at the bait to get Dalvin Cook? Everybody thought he was going to go to the Dolphins, and they didn't even pick him up. They're running with Raheem Mostert.
Yeah.
So I that's why in the previous question, I like Breece Hall because he's a better athlete. He's a better running back at this stage. Now, Dalvin Cook was great throughout his career. It's kind of like Zeke,
Yes.
right? I mean, you got Ramondre Stevenson. You can say, well, what about Zeke? Right? I mean, I like Zeke. He'd definitely be there on Zeke probably would be there on the third down for the passing situation because he's a great blocker and he can catch actually. So that'd be a great place for Zeke. So I don't know if Ramondre Stevenson's going to be used much in the passing game other than, on first or second down. Cook, I think, 9.9 is not bad. He has the potential to get that, but I think Breece Hall will probably get the bulk of the carries as opposed to Cook.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see what happens week 1. Maybe
hard to say, right?
The Jets said Breece Hall's healthy and he's gonna be playing. So, but maybe Abanikanda and Michael Carter. I don't know how that backfield's gonna look, man. It's just gonna be gross.
They're having Breece Hall, Dalvin Cook, and then Michael Carter as the third stringer.
Yeah.
Izzy there is fourth.
Yeah. I don't know. They're all pretty talented running backs in their own way. I just in terms of his projections for this week for Cook, I'm not in. Rachaad White, another one, looks like Tampa Bay said Sean Tucker is the first and second down back, and then Rachaad is the third down back. I don't even know what Tampa Bay is gonna look like this year. If White is gonna be the Pats catcher, maybe he's fantasy relevant. Let's see, we got a question.
I'm looking at the depth chart just so you know. They have Rachaad White as RB1, Chase Edmonds is RB2, Keyshawn Vaughn is RB3, and then Tucker they have him as fourth.
Yeah,
I like Tucker. Tucker's my guy, but
yeah, we
love to see him.
We're both Sean Tucker fans, and that's good because he's made up the depth chart to RB2. So maybe he's going to keep climbing. Maybe he can develop into the guy that we all expected him to. I guess you and me.
Yeah, they're still showing him as fourth on the RLADS depth chart.
Okay. Tampa Bay said that he was going to be the RB2. So
yeah, I'll keep an eye on that. That's good.
All right, we got a question. David Montgomery or Cam Akers for week 1?
Montgomery. He'll get touchdown work.
Yeah.
Goal line work.
Yeah. I agree with that. I'll probably have to move up and go with Montgomery. I think I have Akers above, but again, I don't know how that Rams they're toss up. Yeah. So if you want to just trust and go with volume, fine, go with Cam Akers. Opportunity, I would go with Montgomery. I think Montgomery, like you said, Max, I think Montgomery will get that goal line work and be that Jamal Williams.
Or Connor.
I mean, yeah.
James Conner from the Cardinals.
Yeah.
He would...
Yeah. Like RB9, yeah. He's the most efficient running back in NFL in 2021. Yeah, it was I had a conversation. How is this guy? I don't know.
Hey, you get the goal line work, you gotta start him.
Yeah.
Or not start him. He's certainly in consideration. That's something to look at. You don't know. We won't know until the game's played, but I would suspect to see Montgomery a little bit more down by the goal line.
Yeah, and then the Rams, they'll be playing from behind, and Cam Akers hasn't been the pass catcher that the Rams want him to be. I like Cam Akers coming out of Florida State. Obviously, he had the Achilles injury, and I don't think he's at 100% still. But it seems like they like Kyron Williams. Maybe Zach Evans becomes that pass catcher that they like. Another gross backfield. Montgomery, you know what you're getting when you start him. He's going to get that goal line work. And looks like, they're going to have to be playing from behind from Detroit this week. And, I don't mind starting Montgomery here. All right. Let's keep going. If you got more questions, anybody, feel free to ask.
You doing receivers?
Yeah.
I think just Johan Dotson, you have opponent as KC is actually going to be the Cardinals
Johan?
or Dotson.
Johan.
Sorry, Johan Dotson.
It's just Johan.
What did I say? I thought I said Johan. Well, whatever I said. Dotson. I'll just say Dotson.
He's fancy. Johan. All right. We got Ridley. We mentioned that. Jefferson. I mean, I think he's going to get more than that. Cooper. Fine. Surprising one. Thielen. Somebody's got to catch the ball. Somebody's got to get targets. Someone has to get a touchdown.
Hey, Thielen got one in the preseason. I like that call.
He did. And if he was in fantasy, he had 93 yards on 6 catches and a touchdown. That's like 15 points. Just saying.
First part of the year, he's a guy to keep an eye on. He might fade near the end, but first part of the year, he's still got some in the tank.
I think so. CD, I think it'll be a high-scoring game. I think he's going to get a lot of work. Dotson, if Terry doesn't play, Dawson's going to have a great week. Either way, even if Terry does play, I still think Dawson's going to outperform his projections. Some busts this week. Hopkins, I don't trust Ryan Tannehill. It looks like Burks actually might play this week. We still don't know. Sutton, dude, I don't even know what Russell Wilson's going to do with this, man. I don't know how it's going to look. 11, nah. DJ Moore, 14 and a half is a lot, in my opinion. Last year, Fields' guys they didn't get any pass catching work. They didn't get nothing.
They should do better with Peyton running the offense versus Hackett, but I'm sorry, different guy. I was looking.
No, go ahead.
You're talking
ahead.
about Sutton, right?
Yeah, no, we're talking about Moore, but
Moore,
go ahead.
okay,
Go
sorry,
ahead.
I thought you were talking about Sutton. Sutton, I think because of the injury to Judy, you might see potentially more from Denver than what we've seen in the past, just because of the Peyton factor.
Yeah,
hard to tell though. DJ Moore, 14.4. That's a lot for the Bears offense, which until Fields proves that he can sling it consistently, might be tough against the Green Bay defense.
Yeah.
So I agree with that.
And Jair Alexander's going to be on him the entire time, and he's a top-notch corner. Mike Williams, 13 and a half. I mean, this is me. I'm going to be biased. This is me being biased. I love Quentin Johnston, and I think he's going to be relevant week 1. So you need a big body that can run deep and catch and go up and get it. QJ's your guy. Just saying. I don't think Mike Williams is going to be getting a touchdown and 3 catches. I don't know, 90 yards. I don't see it. It's just me being biased. All right, we'll wrap up on my tight ends. Then you can chime in and just give me your guys too, right? Oh, quick. Kelsey if he plays. Andrews. Love Kyle Pitts this week.
Yeah.
Evan Ingram and Jawan Johnson. Jawan Johnson is my pick for Boom Week. Why? The dude's an athlete. He's gonna have opportunity now with Derek Carr. Derek Carr loves his tight ends. Remember Darren Waller back in the day? I'm not saying Jawan Johnson's Darren Waller, but maybe he's Darren Waller light. And somebody's gotta catch the ball outside of Michael Thomas and Chris Olave. Maybe he gets some opportunities, especially touchdowns. He's a big dude. Red zone threat. I like him against Tennessee. Some busts this week. Kittle, I have concerns with a groin injury, as well as Brock Purdy. Now teams have film on Brock Purdy. I'm not sure how he's going to look against Pittsburgh. Kittle is Kittle, but I'm not sure if he gets 10.5 this week. Owen Goddard, 10 points against New England. New England traditionally does well against tight ends. They cover tight ends pretty well, but I think it's going to be A.J. Brown and the run game this week. I think you're going to see a lot of yak ability from A.J. Brown, and we're going to see a lot of work from Swift this week, as well as running with Rashad Penny, and then Gainwell. McBride, 7 points. I think is going to be a lot asking for a tight end on a team that's tanking. Not a fan of Dobbs. Not a fan of week 1. This one might be spicy considering Kupp might not play this weekend. You might say Higbee's the upside play. If Kupp's out, that whole offense looks bad. And then I don't even know if Stafford's even going to play week 1. Says he is. He's going to be throwing to Puka Nakua, and Higbee. Gosh, that's bad. I don't know how the offense is going to look against Seattle's strong defense. All right, that's all I got here. So
on this one here, I like Jawan Johnson. I had him last year. He's a good athlete. I think he'll do well. I like that one. On this side here, I made my own slide because as much as I like Pitts as a talented tight end, Smith just not going to use him right. He hasn't. I don't think he's going to start this year. I think he's not going to change his color, the color of his feathers on this one. I think Smith's just going to keep abusing Pitts and misusing him. Goddard, I think they're going to be concentrating on A.J. Brown. I mean, New England's a good defense. They're a well-disciplined team, well-coached team at least. I think, like you said, the run and the receivers, I think Goddard's going to slip out. He's going to score a touchdown and get a bunch of first downs. So go to the next slide, and you'll see what I like all the other ones. I like McBride, but the quarterback play is just not going to be there. So I just switched Goddard and Pitts. I think Goddard exceed his 10.1, and I don't think Pitts will make the 10.2.
So a question for you then, since you're down on my guy Kyle Pitts.
No, I like him as a tight end. I just think that in the system where he's at with Smith and those guys in the Falcons, they're just not going to use him the way they should. Go ahead.
Arthur has the opportunity to make Kyle Pitts. Kyle Pitts, the one that we knew coming out of Florida. He went and got a tight end from New England to specifically block on every play.
Because Pitts got hurt. How
This year.
I know, but how many? Well, he got hurt last year, so he had to get a guy to block for this year. How long has Arthur Smith had the opportunity to make Pitts the Pitts that was drafted?
How do you look his rookie year?
Yeah, what happened after that?
It was amazing. Okay. Amazing. One of the best rookie campaigns at a tight end ever.
Well, how long has Arthur Smith been there?
What, 2 years? So I mean, I can see why you don't like Kyle Pitts this week.
I do, but I'm just saying I don't think they're gonna. I mean, it would be great. I mean, geez, they have the ability to use the run and use him as a decoy, pretend he's blocking and go out and go deep. But I just don't see Arthur Smith doing that. He just hasn't. I don't know. He just doesn't seem to do that. So I don't have the faith till I see it. I'd rather have Goddard because they use the heck out of Goddard and the Eagles. The Eagles machine. They're just a machine.
That's fine. I'm taking Kyle Pitts because I like Kyle Pitts' talent. If Arthur Smith doesn't like him, then you have your answer. Kyle Pitts is going to be forever the blocking tight end. And that just shows how great he is as a tight end. Because if he's the best blocking tight end on the team, after they go and pick up a blocking tight end, then Kyle Pitts is hands down the most talented tight end in all of football.
Who was the tight end when Smith was with the Titans?
Arthur Smith with the Titans?
Yeah, wasn't he the offensive coordinator?
Like 3 years ago? I don't remember.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Who's the tight end for the Titans?
Have the Titans ever had a good tight end?
Exactly my point with Arthur Smith. He didn't have the track record. He's not a tight end guy.
He's not an anything guy. He's a Desmond Ridder guy.
Okay, there's another feather in the cap for putting Pitts on the boom cycle as opposed to the bust cycle. I like him on the, okay, those are my Arthur Smith and an unproven quarterback. That's why I got him on the bust. And that's why I moved Goddard to the left, because he's got the track record. He's got Hurts and so many targets around him that he's the only guy they're going to leave open. Say, beat me with Goddard, as opposed to A.J. Brown and Swift and Smith.
All right, I'll eat crow.
Yeah, come back to this.
I'll eat my hat next week if Kyle Pitts doesn't get 10.3 points.
Okay, if Pitts gets 10.3, I'll be like, hey, that's why they drafted him in the first round, right?
What?
I'll eat crow. Or that's when they Pitts. When did they draft Pitts?
Back in 2021.
I know, what round?
Round 1.
Yeah, if he gets 10.3, I say, well, that's why Pitts. He should have been on the boom side. You're right. He's a first round draft pick. He's got that talent, and they're finally using him.
We'll see. Even if he gets 30 snaps out wide, I expect him to still do well.
If you've had Pitts on your team for the last couple of years, other than his breakout rookie year, he's been a big disappointment as a fantasy tight end because he just doesn't give you the points week in, week out like you would hope.
Well, who else is there?
Kelsey. Andrews.
Okay, well, we'll take a look here. This is a hot topic, right?
Ingram.
This is what people talk about too, right?
I mean, you have them up here. You have Kelsey, Andrews, even Hawkinson, Kittle, Goddard is number 7. Ingram is going to do better this year, I think. Another year in the system. Freiermuth has done fairly well. Johnson.
We're just talking this week. Just this week.
Oh, I see what you're saying. I don't
know. They're playing Carolina this week.
Fair enough.
Right. So we got Minnesota playing who? Right. Minnesota's playing Tampa Bay. Atlanta's playing Carolina. Carolina sucks. San Francisco, they're playing Pittsburgh. They're pretty good. I mean, and John's playing Cowboys.
Carolina's got a decent defense.
Okay, but
they play tough.
They're not good. They're still not good.
All right, we'll see next week. We'll just see.
We'll see. Happens. Yeah, that's why all these guys are in the blue, right? They're toss-ups, honestly. But you're going to start them because you drafted them. All right, all these guys from Hawkinson to Freiermuth, you're starting. I'm starting Juwan because I like him this week. All right, and that'd be it. Oh. All right, some guys on waivers that you'll see because somebody's asking me about, who should I pick up? Right. Tight ends, if Kelsey's out, pick up Juwan Johnson, pick up Gray, pick up Conquo. Start them. It's going to be gross. Just start them and just don't even blink. Just press the button and just set. Wide receivers on waivers. I don't even know how Dotson's still on some waivers, but he is. Thielen, Nico Collins, Marvin Mims. I mean, like I said, somebody's got to catch these balls from these quarterbacks. Someone has to. Sutton and Mims. Mims is a wide receiver 2 on the Broncos. Nico could be the wide receiver 1 on the Texans. Adam Thielen could be the wide receiver 1 on Carolina. They're guys that somebody's going to get the ball, right? Running backs on waivers in case you have, Breece Hall and A-Train, or maybe you had Jeff Wilson, or maybe you had Jonathan Taylor, right? Maybe you got JT and you're just like, I don't know what to do. Go get Deion Jackson, the backup for JT. It's going to be running back by committee. But when we saw Jackson last year, he gave up 20 points, got 20 plus fantasy points. Another guy actually like coming back to that goal line work guy, Damian Harris. He's touchdown dependent, but hey, maybe get you that nice 10 to 12 points that you need for the week. Raheem Mostert. I've seen him on some waivers in redrafts, but I'm sure he's probably gone, and pretty much everybody's now that Jeff Wilson's out and then A-Chain. So
okay, I gotta say this H on Raheem Mostert. Do you remember when Chase Edmonds was starting on the Dolphins? I do, because I had him on my team. Yeah. I picked him up and drafted him. He got nothing for me the whole year. I don't see Mostert being any better than Edmonds. if you pick up on waivers, I'm like, oh my gosh, you have to be desperate. Either
Yes.
that or just plan to not get very many points. If he
Yeah.
gets you 5, you're lucky. That's what Chase Edmonds was getting me every 4 to 6 points a week. So I don't know. I just got to say that on Mostert. I look at that, I go, oh my gosh, if you're picking him, you're in trouble.
Yeah. Now you bring that up, right? Let's talk about the consensus of the fantasy community and the start guys. So this is Pro Football Network, and they got Goff because Chris Jones is out. But I wouldn't say he's a must start. He's somebody you pick and you start if you're desperate. Dylan, another one. We don't know though, right? I'm not starting him in my RB slots. Maybe a flex. Even then, you shouldn't even be that desperate in redraft formats.
Yeah, I think the thought on the Dylan is that because he's a bigger back and they have a young quarterback, they're probably going to run more just to kind of set up the play action for Love. I don't dislike the call, but I think it's a pretty bold call for stardom. Like he's going to tear it up.
Yeah, no, I don't think so. And we know that every time you catch a pass, it's worth 1 point, versus if you rush and get 10 yards, it's maybe half, maybe 1 point. So your carries don't even matter. You have to get 10 yards. So to get 100 yards is 10 points, right? That's 10 catches and getting no yards. So here's the Raheem Mostert one, right? A-Chain dealing with shoulder injury. Jeff Wilson dealing with injury reserve, right? We got Chris Brooks, the rookie. Who's he going to be? Somebody's got to go out there in the backfield and carry the ball. I mean, I think A-Chain's going to play, personally. And Salvin Ahmed. I mean, I don't think Mostert's going to be getting you 15 or 14 points, or I think it's 13 points is advertised on projections. That's crazy.
I just don't see it happening. Like I said, he's you could call him Edmonds. Point wise, I predict it's going to be the same. If he does it again, I'll eat crow next week.
I like that. It's good. Let's see. Herbert, Khalil Herbert's the next one. Man, we don't know what this backfield is going to be. He's not a start guy that you start. he's a desperate. I'm desperate. I got to start somebody. He's not a must start.
He had some good games last year, though.
He's you close your eyes and then you press the button. If you have Khalil Herbert as your RB1 or RB2 in redraft, man, you're struggling on that draft, bro. You need to redo. Mike Evans, bro. What is it? A must start, Mike Evans? Okay. Has Baker Mayfield ever produced wide receiver 1 numbers for any of his wide receivers? No. Baker Mayfield sucks, bro.
Hey, he came in with 3 days notice, and all he did was win a game.
He's terrible. Could you rate my team and Odell or I mean, sure. I don't know what your team is. You can put it in the chat. Odell or Jamal Williams? Jamal Williams. Oh my. You start Jamal Williams. He's getting that goal line work. Alvin's injured. Start Jamal Williams.
Yes.
Well, yeah, feel free to put your team down below. We'll get to it after he finishes. Then we'll be done. Mike Evans. No. I'm not starting Mike Evans as my wide receiver 2. If maybe a flex from desperate. But he's had 1,000 yards every season. Look, Jameis Winston wasn't a bum. He would throw that ball. He would air it out. That dude was 30 for 30. And Baker Mayfield's not him. He's not Tom Brady. He's not Jameis Winston.
Could have a Geno year.
No.
Good.
Okay, let me take a look. So Cousins, Herbert, Breece Hall, Jamar Chase, Cooper Kupp, Jalen Waddle, George Kittle, Chris Godwin. It's 12 team, full PPR. I'm guessing if it's super flex, probably super flex. All right, so you got Herbert and Cousins, two quarterbacks I like. Brees Hall. Is there only one running back that we're starting here? Yeah, that's fine. Chase, Cup, Waddle, Kittle, Godwin. I would say for redraft purposes this year, your team should make it in the playoffs. Assuming you have some other running back that's Khalil Herbert. It's one quarterback, two running back, three wide receiver, one tight end, one flex. Wow. I'm not sure why you have Cousins and Herbert. Okay. Consider if Cousins has a boom week, consider trading him this week. Wide receivers, Chase, obviously Chase. Waddle I love. Cup is rough because that hammy. I've been pretty low on Cooper Cup, but assuming you have some depth and you can be pretty good with your starts this week on wide receivers. Okay. Gotcha. Just okay. It's Khalil, not Justin Herbert. My bad. Okay, so you got Cousins, Khalil Herbert, Brees Hall, Jamar Chase, Cooper Cup, Waddle, Kittle, and Godwin. Okay,
It's not a bad lineup to roll for the week.
Yeah, I hope that's not your stars. If Khalil Herbert's your RB2,
yeah, that's what we talked about.
That's kind of rough.
If you can get somebody better, upgrade.
I like the Brees Hall upside pick though. Absolutely like that. I wish instead of taking Cup was somebody else. But if Cup is healthy, maybe in 3 or 4 weeks, maybe you bounce back. I see this as a start to the season, 2-2. I think you can win 2 weeks and lose 2 weeks. This week you might be able to win. Actually, you might be able to win this week if you get Waddle, Chase, and Godwin starting with Kittle being healthy. Yeah, I think this week, Cup round 3. I mean, yeah, but we want to. I mean, it's fine, but round 3 is still high for me. Maybe round 4, or maybe just not even touch him. Pick somebody else. You got to win games out the gate, and it's a tough, long season with those injuries. I give you for a grade. I give you like maybe a C plus, B minus. I think you go 2-2 for the start of the season. Week 1 you should be able to win though. I think Chase, Cousins, Waddle, Kittle should save you. All right, let's finish this up. Be done. Dotson, Metcalf, Higbee. Oh, yeah, see this guy saying start Higbee. Who they're gonna throw to? They're gonna throw to somebody. Yeah, but I don't know if Cup's gonna play. Oh yeah, for sure. Gets you got more questions, feel free to ask. You can also DM me or Max on Twitter at Dynasty Buffs and Max Buffs if you got more questions for the week. You know where to find us. Shoot us any messages if you got more questions. I might do a live on Sunday morning. I'm not sure. I'll be busy this week. But next week for sure we're gonna start doing these every week and doing them. This is a surprising pick coming from the consensus people that say Anthony Richardson's a top 10 quarterback for the year. He's already sitting Anthony Richardson week 1. What a surprise. I am too, actually, so it's fine. But yeah, this guy says expect growing pains Richardson's NFL debut. I think we're going to see growing pains from all the rookies. I mean, that's just common. I don't know what or this. Oh, they're going to finish top 10. You're chasing outliers. Connor, running back 10. He's going to finish top 10 this year. They don't even have a starting quarterback, bro. Like,
no, they do. They'll have a starting quarterback.
Who?
It's just depending whether they're going to drop back in the prevent or they're going to come in here and going to stack the box. I think with Clayton Tune or Dobbs, they're going to stack the box, which is why they're sitting them.
Yeah, no, I agree. The team wants a tank. Okay, Brees Hall. I mean, I get it. Sit. I would too, but hey, man, check to make sure he is injured, or if he's healthy, fully clear to participate in football. If he's fully clear to participate in football, no, you can start him. You can start him.
I agree. He's going to play. If he's healthy, he's going to score you some points. He's just too good of an athlete to not score points.
Same thing with Javonte. I love Javonte and Breece Hall this year. Down the stretch, these guys are values. ADP, absolutely love them. Just check to make sure on the Sunday. Just check those injury reports. Drake London. I mean, I said you have to start him because you draft him now. You don't have anybody else. So no, I disagree with this one.
Just don't expect him to get you a ton of points. He still has Ritter.
Yeah,
which is unproven. I like Ritter coming out of Cincinnati, but it takes a couple years to get up to speed.
All right, here we get another question. How about this team? Lamar, Jahmyr Gibbs, Miles Sanders, Jamar Chase, Jalen Waddle, Christian Kirk, Kyle Pitts, Jamal Williams.
It's a good team.
Job well done.
That's a very good team.
Job well done. That is an A- team for sure. Good job.
Very good.
Lamar, Gibbs, Sanders, he's got that contract. He's going to play. Jamar Chase, Jalen Waddle. Christian Kirk, nice wide receiver 3 pick. He's got the upside with Trevor Lawrence. Kyle Pitts, nice pick there. I mean, I'm sure all the other guys were gone before there. Hey, shoot for the upside in the tight end. Outside of Pitts and Goddard and I think like maybe 2 other tight ends. That's kind of it. There's nobody else. Yeah.
Ferguson.
Nice job.
Ferguson.
D-Hop, yeah, I agree it's gonna be ugly. And Burks is also gonna play. Freiermuth, no, you gotta start him because there's not even that many tight ends to even go around. They're really not. And he was getting touchdowns by Pickett. So he was getting targets from Pickett. He will get targets again from Pickett. All right, and that's all we got for today and this week. If you guys got questions throughout the week, DM us, get in our Discord, ask me questions, shoot us DMs on X/Twitter. I'll probably release a tweet or two, or get in the Discord in the morning, and you guys want to ask some questions, feel free to shoot some, and I'll answer them. Yeah, you got anything else, man?
Nope, I'm just going to be out of town this weekend for the starter, so I may be slow to respond. I don't really post much, but I'll do my best to do better this year.
All right, and that concludes this podcast and this episode for Week 1 Start and Sit. Me, H, Dynasty Buff, and my partner featured Max. Thanks for joining us today, Max. It was good to have you on the show. Thanks to everybody putting in all the questions and comments in the chat. I appreciate that. Make sure you guys give us a like on the video, subscribe if you're new and you're following. We'll be doing our weekly videos and live chats throughout this year. Excited for the fantasy football community this year. And let's get these wins. Let's win this week. We'll touch base next week. We'll go through injury report stuff, basically things we're going to do. Like the video, share the video, subscribe, hit the bell icon, turn on notifications for us. And without that being said, we are out. Thank you.
Thanks.